and welcome to Boston, Massachusetts. My name is Amanda Pollack, and I'm the Visual Information Specialist for the National Underground Railroad Network to Freedom. Our role in the National Park Service is to promote and share the stories of resistance to slavery through escape and flight. Now I'm going to pass you over to Sean Quigley, who's going to tell us the story of William H. Carney in honor of Veterans Day today.
Hi, I'm Ranger Sean with the National Parks of Boston. Today, we're going to talk about William H. Carney. William Carney was not born here in Boston. He was born enslaved in Norfolk, Virginia. He would escape enslavement, make his way north, and actually settle in New Bedford, Massachusetts. His home is a site on the Network to Freedom. Carney explored a career in the ministry, but after the American Civil War broke out, and more specifically, the Emancipation Proclamation was passed, allowing black men to join the Union Army and fight, Carney, like many other African-American men, enlisted. Carney signed up to fight in the famed 54th Massachusetts, one of the first African-American regiments to fight for the Union Army in the Civil War.
After training in Reedville, Massachusetts, the 54th was deployed to South Carolina as a part of a greater campaign to take Charleston, South Carolina. Here, the 54th fought their most famous engagement at the Battle of Fort Wagner on July 18, 1863. Fort Wagner was a fort protecting Charleston Harbor. No longer standing today, the fort in 1863 was well defended, surrounded by water, swamp, and sand. The only way to get at the fort was a narrow strip of beach, meaning that only one regiment at a time could attack the fort.
While the Union is planning the assault on Wagner, the 54th Massachusetts volunteers to lead it. Now, this may seem surprising, but the 54th sees an opportunity, a chance, to prove themselves in combat, to prove that they are a valuable asset to the Union Army, because many people feel that because these men are African American, they are not going to be capable soldiers. They're going to be undisciplined. They are going to run as soon as bullets are being fired. These men know they are equal to white soldiers. And despite facing discrimination, segregated units, unequal pay, they still volunteered. They still led that charge. And it is at this battle that William Carney proves that he is an American hero. By the time of the assault, Carney has been promoted to the rank of sergeant.
At dusk, on July 18, 1863, he and his men began the assault on the fort. During the attack, Carney saw that the color bearer of the regiment was killed. Knowing the importance of the flag to his regiment, Carney put his own personal safety aside and retrieved the flag. There was a price to pay for doing so, however, because Carney went into a hail of gunfire to save it. And because of this, he was shot multiple times. Despite the injuries, Carney continued to fight, but the Confederate defenses proved too strong and the 54th had to retreat. But Carney kept the flag with him and brought it back to Union lines. Once arriving, he is reported to have said, "Boys, I did but my duty. The dear old flag never touched the ground." Sergeant William Carney would be honorably discharged from the Army in 1864 because of his wounds suffered at Fort Wagner. He moved back to New Bedford and took a job as a postman. 3 decades after Fort Wagner, Carney returned to Boston for the unveiling ceremony of the Robert Gould Shaw 54th Massachusetts Memorial. The monument took sculptor Augustus St. Gaudens nearly 14 years to complete and is considered a masterpiece. Though currently moved to an off-site location for restoration, the monument will be back in 2021. On Memorial Day in 1897, though cold and rainy, Bostonians came out in droves to see the memorial. Writing about the unveiling ceremony, St. Gaudens said, "The impression of those old soldiers, passing the very spot where they left for the war so many years before, thrills me even as I write these words. They seem as if returning from the war, the troops of bronze marching in the opposite direction, the direction in which they had left for the front, and the young men there represented, now showing these veterans the vigor and hope of youth. It was a consecration. One of those veterans was Sergeant William Carney, and he was carrying the flag that he saved from the Battle of Fort Wagner. Though it took nearly 4 decades, Sergeant William Carney finally received the Congressional Medal of Honor in 1900 for his bravery at Fort Wagner.
Thank you, Sean, for telling us that story on such a special day. To all of the soldiers who have fought on behalf of the United States, we thank you for your service. We hope that you have a lovely day and tune in with us next time.